Have you ever walked into a room full of women friends, family, even strangers and felt an invisible shift in the air? Before a single word is spoken, a silent process begins. A quick glance at someone's outfit. An instant evaluation of their confidence, their beauty, their social energy. It's a tiny, lightning-fast calculation in your mind that asks, where do I stand compared to her? This is the unspoken competition among women, one of the most fascinating and misunderstood dynamics in human history. Today, we're going to explore why it exists, what fuels it, how it secretly shapes our behavior, and how the modern world has amplified it to a level our ancestors never could have imagined. To understand this unspoken competition, we have to travel back in time, long before social media, before cities, even before what we call society. In early human communities, a woman's survival was deeply tied to her social environment. It wasn't just about her own skills. It was about alliances, cooperation, and her reputation within the group. For women, competition wasn't usually about physical fights. It evolved to be more subtle, more psychological. While men's competition often revolved around strength and direct confrontation, women's competition became a more complex social game. It was about attractiveness, social influence, and trustworthiness. It was about securing resources through relationships and, in evolutionary terms, choosing the best possible partner while preventing other women from doing the same. This wasn't just about jealousy, as stereotypes claim. It was about survival in a world where your relationships and alliances were your power, and in many ways, they still are. As societies changed, the environment changed, but the underlying psychology didn't. Over thousands of years, women developed incredibly refined psychological strategies that were often more subtle and socially intelligent than those used by men. These strategies could look like bonding and empathy, but also like comparison, exclusion, and silent judgments. So when a woman sizes up another woman, she isn't consciously choosing to do it. Her brain is automatically scanning for threat, advantage, status, and opportunity. It's a biological impulse that happens long before conscious thought steps in. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The competition isn't just external, it's internal. Women don't just compare themselves to other women, they compare themselves to an ideal created by culture, family, and now by algorithms. Beauty was a competition long before Instagram filters. Motherhood was a competition long before parenting forums. Professional success was a competition long before our workplaces went global. Women have always watched one another, not out of malice, but because we unconsciously know that other women shape our environment, our opportunities, and our place in the social hierarchy. This is why the competition is unspoken. To say it out loud would disrupt social harmony and invite conflict. So, we developed a different language. Glances, subtle compliments that might hide a comparison, and quiet observations. This is why two women can be smiling at each other while internally their minds are running a psychological analysis that could fill a novel. It isn't fake, it's adaptive, it's universal. Then came the modern world, and everything escalated. Physical attractiveness became commercialized. Social success became a performance. Our very lifestyles became a personal brand. And social media changed the game forever. A woman today isn't just competing with the women in her immediate circle. She's competing with millions of curated images and impossible ideals online. 20 years ago, you might have compared yourself to a few people in your school or town. Today, you compare yourself with every woman online who fits a specific beauty standard or lifestyle fantasy. And even though we know social media is manipulated, the psychological effect remains. Why does she look like that? Why am I not enough? In the past, competition was limited. Now it's global and constant. This relentless comparison creates enormous pressure. Pressure to look perfect, to seem confident, to have the ideal relationship, the ideal body, the ideal life. But beyond the pressure, it creates confusion. We know we shouldn't compare ourselves. We know beauty standards are unrealistic. We know life isn't a competition. And yet, that instinct, that whisper of where do I stand, keeps returning. Not because women are insecure, but because we are human. Because this competition isn't something we choose. It's something we inherited. But here's a beautiful twist. While competition among women is real, it doesn't define all our relationships. In fact, women form some of the deepest emotional bonds known to psychology. Studies consistently show that women rely far more on emotional expression, vulnerability, and communication in their friendships than men do. We share secrets, fears, and dreams in ways that create a safe space where competition simply disappears. In these bonds, comparison is replaced by support. Rivalry becomes empathy. This duality is what makes female psychology so fascinating. We can be both deeply competitive and deeply collaborative, depending on the relationship. This is why many women say they trust only a very small number of female friends, because when that trust exists, it's profound. There's a delicate balance between admiration and threat. When a woman meets another woman who is confident, beautiful, or successful, she might admire her and feel threatened by her at the same time. It's not simple jealousy. It's a complex mix of biology, culture, personal insecurities, and modern social pressures. Some women deal with this by trying to outperform others, some withdraw, some use humor as a shield. Others turn to self-criticism or try to be the chill girl who pretends she doesn't care. The unspoken competition also evolves with age. For younger women, it might focus on appearance and social attention. As we get older, it can shift to career success, motherhood, or personal development. But the underlying principle of comparison remains. One of the most misunderstood parts of this is that the competition isn't objective, it's subjective. A woman who feels insecure about her looks might feel threatened by someone beautiful. But a beautiful woman might feel threatened by someone who is more confident. A confident woman might be threatened by someone more intelligent. Our own insecurities determine who we see as competition. Sometimes this shows up as imitation. We might copy the style or behavior of a woman we admire, which can be a healthy part of learning. But other times, it can lead to silent tension. At other times, it shows up as distance. We might avoid someone who triggers our insecurities, even if we respect them. The competition can also manifest as indirect conflict, subtle sarcasm, or social exclusion. This isn't because women are passive-aggressive, but because direct conflict has historically carried a greater social cost for us. So indirect strategies evolved as a safer way to navigate tension. But despite all this, competition doesn't have to make us enemies. In fact, our shared struggles can create powerful alliances. Many female friendships are built not on competition, but on mutual vulnerability. When two women break past the silent comparison and see each other as human, a deep connection can form. This brings us to a crucial insight. Women don't compete because we dislike each other. We compete because we fear not being enough. The real competition is internal. It's with the ideal self we feel pressured to be. Other women just trigger that feeling. And in the modern world, that ideal self has become impossible to achieve. So, what's the key to breaking this cycle? It starts with awareness. When you realize that your instinct to compare is not a personal flaw, but a biological and cultural inheritance, you can start to take back control. Instead of seeing other women as benchmarks, you can see them as different stories, different paths. This doesn't mean competition vanishes entirely, but it loses its power over you. A woman who understands her own worth doesn't need to compete. She can admire others without feeling threatened. She can celebrate other women, knowing that someone else's success doesn't diminish her own. And when women choose to break the silent competition, something beautiful happens. Friendships become stronger. Collaboration gets easier. Confidence becomes authentic. Life becomes less about comparison and more about personal meaning. In a world that constantly pushes us to compete, choosing connection is an act of rebellion. The unspoken competition will always exist on some level, but understanding it dissolves its power. When we learn to see it as a reflection of our own insecurity rather than a reality, we free ourselves from a struggle that was never truly ours to begin with. The greatest strength we have is not in outperforming each other, it's in supporting each other. And that might just be the most important transformation of our time. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this. See you in the next one.